Support for our podcast comes from Symphony 3, which has announced exciting news. It's launched its innovative Smart Glue platform on the AWS marketplace. That makes the secure and affordable integration solution accessible to government agencies worldwide. The platform includes over 50 pre-built connectors specifically designed for public sector systems, government APIs, enterprise solutions and AWS services to transform citizen experiences by breaking down data silos. Smart Glue delivers operational excellence for local governments through cost reduction, process optimization, improved decision-making and scalable architecture, all while maintaining comprehensive security and compliance standards required by public sector organisations. Get in touch to see how Symphony 3's expanded team and solutions can support your goals. Head to symphony3.com to find out more. Coming up, a new era for Hobsons Bay as it announces its next chief executive. Gippsland earns a place on the world stage. A Lord Mayor's health battle. Councillors accused of copycat motions on housing in New South Wales. Service cuts and workforce reallocations flagged at a Queensland council, while another allays fears of a burial crisis. A controversial Tasmanian councillor reveals his future plans, and defamation proceedings from a CEO against his former council in WA. Hello, I'm Chris Eddy. Welcome back to the Local Government News Roundup. It's a brand new week of news from and about councils across Australia and beyond. Our podcast is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences. It's Monday the 27th of October 2025. Hobsons Bay City Council has appointed Phu Nguyen as its new Chief Executive Officer, effective January 19 next year. Mr Nguyen, currently CEO of South Australia's city of Onkaparinga, grew up in Melbourne's western suburbs and brings extensive local government experience from Victoria, New South Wales and South Australia. He moved to Onkaparinga in mid-2023 from Campbelltown City Council in New South Wales, where he was Deputy Chief Executive Officer and Director of City Governance. Phu has been tasked with rebuilding governance and culture at Hobsons Bay after a period of turmoil which saw the CEO and some senior executives suspended early this year, while an investigation was conducted into concerns about safety in the workplace. Mayor Councillor Daria Callender says Mr Nguyen stood out for his expertise in governance and culture and his understanding of issues facing Melbourne's West. He takes over from interim CEO Kerry Thompson, who has led the council organisation since March. At Onkaparinga, Mayor Moira Weir said she's incredibly sad to see Phu leave. She said he'd navigated them out of financial sustainability concerns and supported organisational culture change so the organisation can deliver the best outcomes for the community, and that he will be missed. Recruitment for a new Onkaparinga CEO will commence immediately to ensure a smooth transition. More on how that announcement is being reported in South Australia a little later in this episode. Gippsland has been selected to participate in a European Union research initiative on sustainable urban development, with regional leaders set to represent the area at the Smart City Expo World Congress in Barcelona next month. One Gippsland chair and South Gippsland Shire Councillor Nathan Hersey said the region's inclusion acknowledged Gippsland as diverse and ambitious with global relevance.
All Gippslanders should be really proud that our region's been recognised on an international level for its role in Australia's energy production, but also for having world-class food and fibre outputs. Gippsland produces such high-quality produce, and really we know that the world is looking for clean, green and reliable food sources, and we have that right here in Gippsland.
Councillor Hersey said participation in the program could help attract investment and create new jobs.
Gippsland's involvement in the EU's International Urban and Regional Cooperation Program could really open up some opportunities for Gippsland to attract new investment, to create new jobs, to strengthen skills and training, just to be able to look forward for future opportunities that are out there in the world that we could bring back to a localised level.
Councillor Hersey will be joined by Latrobe City Council Mayor Councillor Dale Harriman at the Congress in Barcelona next month as guests of the International Urban and Regional Cooperation Programme. Victoria's Planning Minister Sonia Kilkenny has met with the Greater Ballarat Alliance of Councils to discuss infrastructure and housing targets, with the region expected to accommodate 85,550 new homes by 2051. Council leaders told the minister that population growth must be supported by critical infrastructure, including roads, water, sewerage and public transport. The Alliance represents 6 Western Victorian councils and their combined communities, and it's called for early collaboration between local and state governments in planning reform processes. 14 councils in Melbourne's northwest will conduct a large-scale emergency relief centre exercise next month at the Mickleham North Community Centre. The annual drill will test the region's ability to respond swiftly to disasters by simulating a real-life emergency scenario and assessing the provision of immediate relief, including shelter, first aid, food and water. Hume City Council's emergency management team responds to multiple events each year, including bushfires, flooding and storms, with the exercise designed to strengthen coordination and ensure no community is left behind during a crisis. And Hume City Council has voted to explore the creation of a ceremonial crest or coat of arms to mark the city's 30th anniversary. Sunbury Life reported that the proposal was put forward by councillor named Kurt. The emblem would serve as a heritage symbol for civic occasions and formal events, rather than replacing the council's corporate logo. Council officers will now prepare a report on design options, costs and community involvement opportunities. In more council-related news getting media attention, disability advocates in Stawell are calling for urgent repairs to broken and uneven footpaths that are preventing elderly and disabled residents from moving safely around their community. ABC News reported that local councils are struggling to prioritise footpath maintenance amid tight budgets and competing infrastructure demands, with the MAV saying councils need more funding support from state and federal governments. In Melbourne's southeast, the Dandenong Star-Journal reports on the resignations of 3 senior managers from Greater Dandenong Council within days of each other. Chief Financial Officer Michelle Hanson is departing for the city of Burundara after 14 years, while Manager of Governance Nicole Rudden and Chief Engineer David Feiss have also left for roles at other councils. And the Bendigo Advertiser reports that Mount Alexander Shire Council has dispelled rumours that the Hungry Jack's burger chain was planning a restaurant for Castlemaine. The rumour generated as much excitement as it did concern from community members, leading to questions at a council meeting about the planning status and risk assessments for the proposal. Mayor Rosie Annear told the meeting the rumour started on social media and rapidly gained momentum, causing an amount of panic. She confirmed that there was no planning application for a Hungry Jack's restaurant in Castlemaine at this time. More Victorian news in brief. The Victorian Government has appointed Dan Starr, KC, as an independent mediator to help residents affected by the Macrae landslide return to their homes. Mr Starr will facilitate discussions between affected landowners, Mornington Peninsula Shire Council and South East Water, and a 3-month deadline has been set for the process. A park in Yarragon has won the 2025 Excellence in Geographic Naming Award. Angela Malakan Park honours a beloved teacher who taught at the site for nearly 40 years, and Baw Shire Council is planning an opening event for the park later this year. And a groundbreaking 3-bin waste system in the northeast cross-border region is celebrating its 10th anniversary with remarkable results. Since 2015, the initiative has diverted more than 390,000 tonnes of waste from landfill and achieved an impressive 84% recycling rate. Organics contamination sits at just 0.17%, among the lowest in Australia. The system now covers 66,000 households across Albury City, Wodonga, Indigo Shire and Federation councils. This is your Monday edition of the Local Government News Roundup. Let's head into New South Wales now. Newcastle Lord Mayor Ross Kerridge has taken leave from civic duties to undergo medical treatment. The Mayor's office confirmed the leave of absence but has not disclosed details of the medical condition. other than that it requires ongoing treatment. The Newcastle Herald reported that Councillor Kerridge has asked that his privacy be respected and that he would provide more details when his expected outcome becomes clearer. Deputy Lord Mayor Charlotte McCabe will assume leadership responsibilities during this period. Meanwhile, the Herald reports that Newcastle is unlikely to meet the state government's ambitious target of 11,100 new homes by 2029. The council says it has little control over actual housing construction, despite approving developments, and is calling for infrastructure funding, particularly for the Broadmeadow precinct, which could deliver 20,000 homes. A heated dispute has erupted at Wollongong City Council after Labor councillor Dan Hayes accused Greens councillors across New South Wales of coordinating copycat motions against state housing reforms. Greens councillor Deirdre Stewart defended her motion opposing the planning bill, saying it was legitimate collaboration between party members concerned about reduced environmental protections and community consultation. Region Illawarra reported the controversy has highlighted growing tensions between the Labor majority and Greens minority on the council, which has 8 Labor councillors and 3 Greens representatives. Bayside Council is cracking down on vehicles blocking private driveways. The council acknowledges residents are frustrated when driveways are blocked, restricting property access, and current enforcement options of issuing fines don't provide immediate relief. The council will now investigate options including towing offending vehicles at no cost to residents. Last week, Waverley Council announced a 12-month trial under which vehicles found blocking driveways would be towed after receiving more than 2,000 complaints about the issue in 1 year. Lake Macquarie's youngest ever mayor, Adam Schultz, has declared his intention to seek re-election in 2028, according to the Newcastle Herald. The 42-year-old Labor mayor says he's thoroughly enjoying the role after completing his first year, citing the Hunter Sports Centre upgrade and a strategic partnership with Central Coast Council as key achievements. The council is still recovering from an alleged arson attack that partially destroyed their headquarters, and they're searching for a new CEO. The Newcastle Herald reports that a Port Stephens councillor will bring an urgent motion to withdraw support for the state government's powered vessel exclusion zones trial. The trial would ban motorised vessels, including jet skis, from select waterways from December 24th to January 26th, and Councillor Mark Watson says there's been no proper consultation with businesses and tourism operators. He's calling for the council to withdraw support until there's open and transparent community consultation. Lismore City Council has adopted a zero-tolerance approach after staff at the Goonellabah Sports and Aquatic Centre were subjected to verbal abuse, threats and assault, including having urine-soaked paper thrown at them. Mayor Steve Krieg condemned the behaviour, saying staff deserve to feel safe at work and that perpetrators will face bans and police referrals. The Mayor of Canterbury Bankstown, Bilal El Hayek, has made history by becoming the first sitting mayor to meet with Lebanon's head of state during a visit to the presidential palace in Babda. Canterbury Bankstown is home to more than 55,000 residents of Lebanese descent, the largest Lebanese community in Australia. And long-time Penrith councillor and former Mayor Kevin Crameri has passed away after a 3-year battle with cancer. Mr Crameri served 50 years in local government, first elected in 1974, and ending his career last year. He served as mayor twice. More New South Wales Council briefs. Newcastle's former Lord Mayor Nuatali Nelms has received the Emeritus Mayor Award from LG New South Wales. The honour recognises her leadership, innovation and advocacy during 16 years of service to the city. Councillor George Ciccato has been re-elected as Deputy Mayor of Coffs Harbour City Council for another 12-month term. Councillor Ciccato was first elected to council in 2016. And Wagga Wagga City Council is painting street trees purple to highlight those vandalised through poisoning or illegal pruning. Staff say they look after street trees as if they were their own, and the vandalism is distressing. The Purple Paint campaign aims to educate residents about the importance of leaving tree maintenance to councils. Continuing on with our Monday edition of the Roundup with more news to come from right around the country, it's time for the Queensland report. Toowoomba Regional Council is preparing for tough conversations as it seeks to save $15 million. Mayor Jeff McDonald says service cuts and workforce reallocations are on the table following a year that saw revenue drop $36 million despite rate increases. The council posted a small surplus of just $639,000, but only due to early payment of federal grants. With 200 vacant positions in a workforce of 1,700, the council is reviewing all services to determine what can be cut or done more efficiently. You can read more on that story from the Toowoomba Chronicle. While Queensland is facing a burial boom that could leave some cities short on grave sites within the next decade, Bundaberg Regional Council says it has no immediate space crisis. It's moved to reassure the community it has capacity for well into the future after the issue was highlighted by LGAQ at its conference last week. Some local cemeteries are already closed to new burials, and the Courier Mail reports that cremation is becoming the preferred option for many Australians due to lower costs and flexibility. Fraser Coast Regional Council has responded to community frustrations about antisocial behaviour in the Maryborough CBD. The council says its powers are limited, with only Queensland Police able to move people on or deal with criminal behaviour. It's called for more support around housing, mental health and addiction services, which it says are the real drivers behind the behaviour. Redlands City Council has lost another court battle after a Planning and Environment Court judge overturned the council's refusal of a childcare centre in Birkdale. Judge David Kent ruled the single-storey facility would be compatible with the residential area and meet a demonstrated need for childcare places in the region. The decision adds to a string of costly legal losses for the council, according to the Courier Mail. A Sunshine Coast councillor has moved to clear up confusion after dog owners raised concerns about beach access following the endorsement of a 5-year shorebird conservation plan. Councillor Taylor Bunarg says dogs have not been banned from North Shore Beach despite speculation on social media, with the plan focusing on protecting high-value shorebird habitat during seasonal periods. Cairns Regional Council has conducted Operation Zona, a large-scale disaster preparedness exercise simulating a severe tropical cyclone. Around 120 participants from local, state and federal agencies, including the Australian Defence Force, tested disaster coordination systems at the local Disaster Coordination Centre in Wooree. Cherbourg Aboriginal Shire Council has been recognised with the Audit and Risk Committee Award for South East Queensland at the LGAQ Annual Conference. The award acknowledges 5 years of excellent risk audit ratings. And Rockhampton Regional Council is calling on Mount Morgan residents to reduce their water consumption after several weeks of high usage across the region placed local reservoirs under strain. While water sources remain at healthy levels, the council says treatment plants are struggling to keep up with demand. The Glenmore treatment plant has been processing 26 million litres more per day in October compared to September. To Tasmania, and former Launceston Mayor Danny Gibson has announced he won't recontest his council seat at next year's local government elections. Councillor Gibson has served on council since 2011 and was elected mayor in 2022, before stepping down as mayor last year amid media reports about his working with vulnerable people status. The ABC has reported allegations from young men that Gibson made unwanted sexual advances. He announced his decision not to stand again at last week's council meeting. The City of Burnie's redeveloped Arts Centre will officially open on the 10th of November, marking a major cultural milestone for the city. The $20 million project has transformed the former Civic Centre into a hub for art, museums, performances and community events. However, The Advocate reported that local arts groups say deep wounds remain from the council's 2021 cuts that axed 16 staff and shut down key cultural venues. They say while they're ecstatic about the new facility, it doesn't fully heal the damage from that period. And Glenorchy City Council is set to vote on a new policy that would allow crews to remove graffiti from private properties for the first time, according to Pulse Tasmania. Council officers removed more than 4,400 instances of graffiti between July 2024 and September this year. Under the new proposal, crews could clean graffiti up to 1 metre down private driveways if it's visible from arterial roads or is racist, obscene or offensive. The expanded program includes 2 new new vehicles, 3 additional staff members and specialised cleaning equipment. Offensive graffiti would be removed within 1 working day under the plan. To South Australia, and more on that breaking story of Onkaparingo Council CEO Fu Nguyen's resignation after just over 2 years to take up a role with Hobsons Bay City Council in Melbourne. The announcement follows controversy over ratepayer-funded travel to Brazil for Mayor Moira Weir and 2 other mayors. The 3 are attending a climate change conference in Rio de Janeiro with travel costs covered by the local government association. But a council spokesman insists that Nguyen's resignation is entirely unrelated to the Brazil trip controversy. A beloved sculpture of a mother kangaroo and Joey has vanished from Penashore on Kangaroo Island. The artwork, created by local artist Phil Baines, was commissioned by the council and has become a cherished community feature. Mayor Michael Pengilly has condemned the theft as a wanton act that disrespects both the artist and ratepayers. Ratepayers are up in arms over Campbelltown Council's $61 million civic centre proposal, according to the Adelaide Advertiser. 3 options are on the table, including one with a 500-seat performing arts centre that would operate at a loss. A petition opposing the plans has gathered more than 250 signatures, with concerns about a possible 12-storey high-rise. Mayor Jill Whittaker has defended the consultation process as fair and comprehensive and says while many community facilities don't turn a profit, the council would work to minimise any operating shortfall. From Western Australia, the former City of Nedlands CEO Bill Parker has launched defamation proceedings against the city over a press release issued following a critical Auditor-General report. The media release, published in October 2024, came after the Auditor-General rejected the city's 2022-23 financial audit, making it the only council out of 137 to receive a disclaimer of opinion. Mr Parker, who left Nedlands in 2023 to take up a position at the City of Wanneroo, is seeking damages and an injunction to have the release removed from the council's website. The 2025-26 cruise season has launched in Fremantle with the Crown Princess, the largest of 26 ships expected this season. The city will provide complimentary shuttle services and welcome ceremonies, building on last season's $289.5 million economic impact. Fremantle has been announced as the home port for the Sapphire Princess from 2027, which is projected to generate $142 million in economic impact. The City of Melville has adopted its first cat local law, coming into effect last weekend to protect native wildlife while promoting responsible cat ownership. The law introduces cat-prohibited areas at 64 reserves and parks, with a $300 infringement for violations, and it limits households to 2 cats unless previously registered. And the Shire of Augusta, Margaret River, has joined the Hidden Disabilities Sunflower Initiative, a global program that helps people with non-visible disabilities signal when they need extra support. 1 in 5 Australians has a disability, with 85% being invisible, and participants can wear sunflower lanyards, badges or wristbands available at Shire facilities. The move follows the Shire's 6 consecutive Most Accessible Communities in WA awards and training for staff to provide tailored support. Let's move on now to our global report with news out of Canada, the US and New Zealand, but first the UK. Lambeth Council has welcomed the government and Mayor of London's emergency housing measures, highlighting its strong record of delivering affordable housing despite challenging market conditions. The council recently approved a development with over 360 homes, including 56% social and affordable housing, and it's progressing major regeneration schemes at 2 locations. Council leaders say they support measures to speed up delivery, but will continue to push for higher percentages of affordable housing than the proposed 20% threshold. The borough has a crisis of 28,000 households on a waiting list. A former Conservative council leader in Scotland has been convicted of defrauding a woman he was in a relationship with out of £188,000, according to BBC News. Andrew Paulson convinced a 72-year-old woman to give him money for property investments, but secretly put the properties solely in his own name. The former East Dunbartonshire Council representative was also found guilty of embezzling over £9,000 from a Christian charity radio station, where he served as a director. Limerick Council's chief has expressed disappointment after the city's mayor criticised staff standards on local radio. Dr Pat Daly told staff their professionalism is deeply appreciated. Mayor John Moran had claimed he'd sent back proposals that weren't good enough. The Limerick Post reported that councillors say the public row is damaging Limerick's ambitious new government model. Cornwall Council has launched a campaign encouraging parents to put down their phones and engage with their children. BBC News reported that the Phones Away, Talk and Play initiative highlights how face-to-face interaction supports early childhood development. And Stoke-on-Trent Council has removed 6 rough sleeper encampments in just 2 weeks. Council leader Jane Ashworth says the camps are bad for homeless people and nearby residents. The authority is working with police and will continue clearing unauthorised sites. To the US, a Los Angeles City Council candidate is under scrutiny after failing to report outside income from his consulting firm for 3 years, according to the LA Times. The city's Ethics Commission has rejected a proposed $17,500 fine for Jose Ugarte, with some commissioners calling for a steeper penalty of around $20,000. Ugarte currently serves as Deputy Chief of Staff to Councilman Curran Price and has attributed the violations to a clerical reporting error. In Florida, the Town Council of Palm Beach has enacted strict new regulations for e-bikes and electric mobility devices following state legislation that expanded local authority. The council unanimously approved measures banning the devices from sidewalks and trails, requiring riders to carry government-issued ID and prohibiting anyone under 15 from operating them in public areas. More on that from USA Today. In Minnesota, a controversial zoning change has been approved by Hermantown City Council, enabling the next steps for a massive data centre project that has been fiercely opposed by residents. The vote came after nearly 6 hours of public testimony, with more than 50 speakers urging the council to reject or delay the decision. The proposed $650 million development would include up to 4 buildings, each the size of 5 football fields, and it would take up to a decade to complete. Early voting has begun for New York City's mayoral race. New Yorkers are choosing between Progressive Democrat Zoran Mamdani, Republican Curtis Sliwa, and Independent Andrew Cuomo, who re-entered politics after resigning as governor in 2021. The Guardian reported the race has highlighted divisions within the Democratic Party and issues of affordability and cost of living. Election day is November 4. And from Canada, 4 new councillors have been elected to Edmonton City Council following this week's municipal election. Global News reported that in one ward, a transit worker defeated a former councillor campaigning on infrastructure. Another candidate secured victory by just 1 vote, while a police sergeant and an entrepreneur were also successful. The 4 rookies will join 8 incumbents when the new council is sworn in on Wednesday. Meanwhile, in New Zealand, a second-term councillor and a former council staffer of 18 years has been appointed deputy mayor of Ruapehu District Council. Radio New Zealand reported that Brenda Ralph was successful, with at least 3 councillors putting themselves forward for the role. Mayor Weston Curtin selected Councillor Ralph based on her ability to work alongside him and her day-to-day availability. Ralph will be formally appointed at the council's inaugural meeting on Wednesday. You've been listening to the Local Government News Roundup, edition number 509, recorded on the morning of Monday, the 27th of October, 2025. If you have comments or feedback, you can email us at lgweeklynews@gmail.com and find out more about this episode, including the story links, by heading to lgnewsroundup.com. The Roundup is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences, with their Smart Glue platform available worldwide on the AWS Marketplace. The Local Government News Roundup is recorded in the city of Greater Geelong, Victoria, on the land of the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation. We come your way every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. I'll be back on Wednesday. Thanks for listening, and bye for now. The VLGA's Victorian Councillor Census is back again in 2025. All councillors in Victoria will be emailed the census on the 6th of October and will have until the end of the month to complete. In its second year, the annual census captures and tracks councillor demographics, attitudes and the key challenges to local governance over time. You don't need to be a VLGA member to participate, and at no stage will the VLGA have access to an individual's responses. The findings of the census will inform, influence and lead conversations across local government and with other tiers of government, and all responses will be fully confidential. This is your chance to have your voice heard as a councillor. The Councillor Census is part of the VLGA's commitment to support councillors on their journey to be successful community representatives.